Hi, my name is Nicole Fernier, and this is my informative speech for my speech class at Thomas Edison State College. It's Communications 209. My informative speech today is on how chronic stress affects our health. You're standing in front of your peers in class. Your hands are sweating, your heart is racing, your voice is trembling as you give your speech, but you take some deep breaths and you push through. This is an example of stress that we're all familiar with. Everyone has experienced this type of pressure in their life. Stress can be very good for us. It's our body's natural response to demand. So when we feel this demand, our body releases chemicals that trigger energy and strength. So if we're in a situation that pressures us, this type of reaction can be beneficial to help us survive. However, when stress overwhelms us and we're unable to cope with this, it can have negative impacts on our bodies. Chronic stress can affect our minds and bodies in many ways. However, there are ways to cope with this and improve our quality of life. I would like the speech to inform you of the negative effects of chronic stress and give you some tools to deal with the stress. What is chronic stress? Chronic stress is defined as the response to emotional pressure for a prolonged period of time over which an individual perceives that they have no control. It involves an endocrine response that occurs, a release of corticosteroids. There are many symptoms of chronic stress. Emotionally, a person might feel irritable, generally unhappy, depressed, agitated, or overwhelmed. Physically, they may feel aches and pains in their body, nauseous or dizzy. Cognitively, they may experience memory problems, poor judgment, being anxious. They might have racing thoughts, and they're probably constantly worrying. Behaviorally, they could have issues with appetite, sleeping, isolating themselves. They may develop nervous habits or even self-medicate with alcohol and drugs. How this affects our body. Research has proven that chronic stress has negative impacts on all the systems of our body. The musculoskeletal system is affected because when a person is constantly stressed, it puts constant strain on your muscles. Constant strains in our body can trigger and promote stress-related disorders. A great example of this is when you get like a stress headache or a migraine. It's associated with chronic tension in our shoulders and our neck. It's very common with people struggling with chronic stress. Respiratory system is also affected. Stress can make it hard to breathe. While that might not be an issue for healthy people, it can have a big impact on someone who has asthma or other breathing problems. Stress can also cause us to hyperventilate, and for some people who are prone to panic attacks, this can trigger a panic attack, and that can be very scary for someone. The nervous system is also affected because when you're stressed, your body is in that fight or flight mode, and that's a lot of stress on the body. The nervous system is constantly fighting to balance, to try to get you out of that fight or flight mode, and it's very draining to us physically. Stress can have all kinds of issues for our stomachs, for our gastrointestinal. It can cause ulcers, it can cause nausea, constipation, diarrhea. The most interesting effects to me are the effects that chronic stress has on our cardiovascular system, our heart. When our body is under stress, it increases our heart rate by constricting our heart muscles while dilating our blood vessels, and that supplies all the blood to all of our organs, and it raises our blood pressure. This isn't an issue with acute stress. Like right now, my blood pressure is probably a little bit high, but after I'm done with the speech, it's probably going to go back down. So that's not really a huge issue. The issue comes when it's constantly over a prolonged period of time, your blood pressure is raised. It can cause long-term problems like heart attack, stroke, or hypertension, which is high blood pressure. This type of issue is greatly affects women, especially women that are postmenopausal. As women, our body produces estrogen every month, and when you're postmenopausal, your body no longer produces that amount of estrogen. The estrogen helps us regulate our blood vessels during stress. So women who are postmenopausal are at greater risk because they don't have that security of the estrogen. This part of my speech is very personal to me. About 14 years ago, my mother, who was 42 at the time, suffered from a massive stroke. Although she was young, she was a smoker. She suffered from chronic stress for a very long period of time, and she also went through menopause at a young age at 38. So she had all the risk factors. She obviously, I didn't know if she didn't know about all these symptoms and signs, but she ignored them, and she ended up almost dying. Actually, they took a part of her brain out due to the stroke, and now at 56, she's completely disabled. How we can control chronic stress. Obviously, this subject is very sensitive to me because of my mother, but also because it makes me aware of my own health. I witnessed firsthand how serious this can be and how it does really affect our health. I also deal with chronic stress in my life, and I have for a while. I'm not sure if it's because it's the way I'm wired, if I'm genetically predisposed to be high strung, but I'm not, or maybe I wasn't taught the coping skills that I needed to manage stress. I've done a lot of research and spent a lot of time to ensure that I can live a healthy lifestyle and I can keep this stuff under control. There are many tools that that you can manage to cope with stress that are very effective. Counseling is always talked about when you're talking about stress. Sometimes in life, we don't get the coping skills we need to manage stress effectively. Talking to a professional about our concerns and anxiety can help us get an outside perspective on our behavior. Someone else getting a fresh pair of eyes looking in to tell you, maybe they can help you think more positively. They can help you change your emotional response to situations, help you embrace your spirituality, which is comforting to some people, teach us time management, help us balance things in life that make us feel overwhelmed, that are causing our stress. Yoga and meditation, I know it's cliche, but it's also very effective in stress management. Yoga is defined as the mind-body practice that combines physical pose, controlled breathing, and meditation. This helps us lower our blood pressure and our heart rate. When our body is stuck in that fight or flight mode that stress triggers, controlled breathing can put us in a rest and digest mode, which can give us some relief, give our body some relief. We can't always control our stress, but we can control our breathing. And many find that yoga is very beneficial. If you're feeling panicked, a common practice is to listen to soothing music, to breathe, to practice controlled breathing, and also to visualize a place in your head that brings you peace. For me, that would be the beach. Yoga and meditation. Yoga is also helpful with muscle tension that we talked about before, about the headaches with the neck pain. Yoga can help ease that. Medications are always an option to manage symptoms of chronic stress. The medications normally they give you are anxiety medications. They help you lower your blood pressure and reduce your symptoms. This, I think, in combination with counseling, can also be very effective. However, with any medication you take, anxiety medication can have side effects like lightheadedness, insomnia, nervousness, upset stomach, headache. Everyone is different, and proper treatment should be discussed with your doctor. Always see your doctor. They know what's best for you. In my personal experience, exercises like weight training and running are my best defense personally against chronic stress. Physical activities like running pump up your endorphins. They make us happy and give us that natural feel-good feeling. When you often hear runners talk about a runner's high, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the endorphins that they get after they run, the rush of endorphins that they get. Running and physical activity can also help us channel that energy, that extra energy that we get when we're stressed. You can help get rid of that, and which will help you sleep better at night. Which, when people don't get sleep, that also makes them stressed. Having a good diet, sleeping well, and exerting that extra energy if possible goes a long way in managing chronic stress successfully. Hopefully I have fully explained to you how when we feel when we're standing here, how nervous I am, how that's different, and that kind of stress is different than the chronic stress that I've been talking about, and the prolonged stress that people can feel in their everyday lives. I hope you also take away something from my personal experience with the topic and how important it is to me and how important it is for you to manage your health. I think that Buddha, I love this quote from Buddha. He says that to keep our body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our mind clear and strong. Thank you.